Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 93 of Muscle Asylum Radio and some episode on Muscle Asylum TV. We're not even keeping count of those. Today, we are joined by, say hello to Jimmy. He's not there because he's a dipshit and I come late. Mick the Gift Galley and our special guest, IFBB Pro and newest 212 amateur, not amateur Olympia, fucking Olympia contender. it's hard to get used to. Aaron Polides, what's happening, buddy?
Hey guys, what's up? Just put my laptop on charge because it's got 3% battery, but we're all good.
It probably should have been done while we were having our chat beforehand.
Yeah. Nah, I'm good. Right on. Long time no speak.
It has been a while. Well, we do speak on a regular basis on social media, but we haven't done one of these in a while with you. Gally, you're all the way in the States at the moment. 4:30 in the morning, you wake up to do this. How is it over there? Is it warm or cold?
No, it's getting warm. So I'm in Dallas. That's where we're based from, and it's just starting to come into their warmer months, which I've been told is really humid. But that's what I love. So I'm really enjoying it. But I just got back from Boston yesterday morning, and that was pretty damn cold there. So the weather changes dramatically around here from state, as you know, as you were just here, just from state to state. The weather it's all over the place. But yeah, no, things are good.
Yeah,
things are good. I expected Jimmy to be on with us as well, so that's a bit of a shame.
It would have been fun with Jimmy because we spent the weekend at the Fitness Expo and we were literally in there for a good 2.5 minutes before we just bailed. It's the same old shit. But no, it was a good weekend. I guess nothing really much to report. I had my surgery, had my fat ripped out of my arm, Gally, and the thing out of my head. You see the scar?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So that scar, I reckon, is going to look worse than the actual fucking cyst on my head. But that's a meaner scar. You can see that, yeah?
Ooh, yeah.
I'm not even flexing. So that's the lipoma that I was talking about, and it was apparently around that big. But when they cut it out, it was the size of a large egg. I was talking to Aaron about this week because he had one on his lower back or something, didn't you, during prep?
Yeah.
Yours wasn't a lipoma, but hey.
Nah, mine was a pilonidal cyst on the top of my tailbone. Worst spot ever, man, because every time I sat down, I didn't talk about it in my prep because I had a couple of injuries. I don't know, I just thought this prep I'll just keep quiet with these issues. And then that one was the worst because every time I sat down on the bench, it hurt. And the leaner that I got, so the leaner my ass got, the less cushion there was there, and it was hurting. And they're like, look, I said to the doctor, to cut it out, it's going to be $3,500. And then you have to it's a common for truck drivers and common. It's more common than I thought after I was speaking to a few people that have had it. And they said, you might not be able to train in that. You have to go to the hospital every day. It depends what procedure they do. There's a few different procedures. One of them you have to go to the hospital every day and get it redressed. And I'm like, well, I can't do that because I'm doing a show. So they said just keep it clean and try and keep off it. So I had to stick off doing flat benches and stuff like that for ages and cradling it. And then I had to buy a donut blow up pillow. You know, those little yeah. When I was driving the truck, I had to sit on a donut pillow when I was driving the truck because the truck bounces up and down. And apparently it's like when it's from like an ingrown hair goes in there and it causes
They're
it.
dangerous.
And it can make you.
They're dangerous. They can make you paralyzed because the hair actually can wrap around your spinal cord. And they can paralyze you. Yeah,
I just kept it clean and ignored it. And I don't know, just pray to God pretty much.
I wouldn't ignore that, yeah.
2 months later, it's just got smaller and smaller. And as I got closer to the show, it was like almost gone. And now it's like almost non-existent. I never touched it. So it'll probably come back.
That grew real quick. So if I had left that would have been in the muscle and they would have had to cut in the muscle. So that grew so quick. It was literally, like you said, the size of a large egg. They had to stitch down and across. And he said, I had to have a week off training. Well, I had to have 2 weeks, but I only had a week off.
You can't afford to lose any more tricep, Gretchy.
It's not tricep. It's like underneath the delt.
Hey, I'm just saying what Jimmy would have said.
No, Jimmy would have made a synthol joke or some bullshit. But yeah.
My doctor gave me some medication just as a backup plan. I said, what happens if it bursts? She said, if it bursts, it can get real infected. So... Sorry. She gave me as a backup plan. She gave me like medication to take if that happened. So I had to take this medication overseas just in case that it happened. Or I was thinking, what if I got tan on it and it got infected in between shows? I was thinking all the worst.
Could you see it? Like, did it have a white head or anything?
Nah, it was just under the skin for like 99% of it, and then at one point it comes to the surface a little bit. And then I was trying to get my missus to do a bit of home surgery on it, but she didn't really want to
I
go
would
near
have
it.
fucking put a needle in that straight away.
Yeah, and but I read so many things. I tried a couple of times, and then because it was a couple of times come real close to the surface, but you read so much shit on Google that it can turn real bad. But I guess I just kept it real clean and it went away, so I was lucky. But that could have put me out of the whole show at one point. The doctor goes, this could put you out of the show, and I'm like, shooting myself.
Let's talk about your shows a little bit. So we haven't spoken to you since you did the New Zealand show. So you did the New Zealand Pro show. That was your first pro show ever. And I think the biggest story out of this, like there's two big stories that come out of this show. Number one, you going head to head against Justin Wessels. Where everyone was on the edge of their seats, literally watching. I was on the Gold Coast because we had the Arnold qualifiers on the Gold Coast that weekend. I remember I was driving to the hotel while watching on my phone. So very dangerous down the Gold Coast Highway while watching on my phone. And literally everyone else said, I remember the day that we rocked up to the show, everyone was talking about, did you see Aaron's win? But I think it was the biggest focal point was obviously you against Justin, you being the first Aussie to ever beat Justin. So no one's ever done that. And then obviously qualifying for the Olympia. Now, a lot of people didn't know that was going to be a qualifying show. There was a lot of, on social media, there was a lot of debate whether or not it was a qualifying show, blah, blah, blah. But it was put to rest pretty quickly by, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Tony that commented that said, yep, no, it's definitely an Olympia qualifier. So tell us a little bit about that, how that show felt for you and your experience there in New Zealand.
I checked if it was an Olympia qualifier when I started the prep because I wanted to only do. Charlie said to me, because Charlie still mentors me, he said, I want you to only do Olympia qualifying shows. So we checked on the lead up. And then I spoke to Josh. Josh reckons all the 212 and open shows these days are Olympia qualifying. Doesn't matter where they are. All of them. I didn't know that. I thought only some of them were. But
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know at all.
Yeah, so... Yeah, but obviously, initially my Tampa Pro was supposed to be my first ever one, and that went bad because of a house purchase that I bought that turned ugly. But so then I changed my sights to NZ, and I think it was the best decision for me in the end because it was the closest thing I had to a home crowd. So there was no New Zealanders in the show, and when I walked on the stage, I got like a really good reception. I've got a fair bit of following there, and it was epic. I won't lie, I was shitting myself like when Justin announced, like, here I am versing, like, you don't know. I didn't know who was in the lineup, so the best pros in the world. But I definitely went up another gear when I knew Justin was in there because I'm like, man, I know the whole of Australia will be glued to it. And there's a whole aura around him about the conditioning that he brings. You remember how you joked about it that last year the year I won my pro card that he was going to do the nationals and I thought he was doing it.
Yeah.
So like, I definitely just thought I'm just going to get as shredded as possible. I wasn't worried about fullness or I was just trying to get as skinless as I could possibly get. I literally just tried to drop as much weight as I could drop off my body. Like if Patrick said fast for a week, I would have fasted for a week. I wasn't never ever worried about size because that was not my game that I was playing against him and the others. So I was just trying to get lean. That's why I was so much fuller at Indy because I was just trying to kill myself for the NZ. So, but it worked and game plan.
Yeah, there was a live feed that was happening during the whole thing, and it was pretty much 50-50 the whole way. People had you in front, people had Justin in front, people had you, people had Justin. But I think it was your symmetry, your size, your legs that put you in front of Justin. Did you do anything strategically with your posing or anything on stage, knowing that you're going up against Justin and you wanted to really focus more on your strong points and show off his weaknesses, or did you just do your own thing and stay in your lane? And
the only thing I never really, to be honest, I never thought about him while on the stage. I never thought about like trying to expose him or anything. I only thought about my strengths. And then every time that I turned to the side, like even more so in the pro league, I get more of a reception in the pro league than I did in the amateurs. When I turn to the side and do the hammy shot, the crowd always cheers every time when I did, because that's now obviously my strongest shot with the glute ham tie-in. So I flaunt the shit out of that pose, and I did that at NZ, and I'll go really slow into it and sort of emphasize it, and then as soon as I turn the glute on, that whole glute ties into the hamstring, the crowd just always likes it. So I guess I flaunt that as much as possible, and that worked well in the Indy Pro. Like I got crazy good reception there as well. So I guess they're my strengths, the side shots more than anything.
And in saying that, they're probably Justin's weaker shots too, with his hamstring and his leg. So
yeah,
it's kind of
they're most guys' weaker shots. I feel everywhere I've been is their size. So many guys, even the Indy Pro, were so big from the phone. Like Indy Pro, they were actual monsters, But then when they turned to the side, a lot of them were missing hamstrings, or they were soft. So it tend to be the most common thing,
Hey, Aaron, you teamed up with Patrick last year to help you prep for the show. So he's a really well-known coach around the world, especially in America, and preps a lot of top athletes. How did that come about? And I know, obviously, he's very against cheat meals. I know your past preps, that's something you enjoy doing. I know we've enjoyed – we went out quite a few breakfasts where you couldn't eat a thing and you just sat there and couldn't do it. How did you find that prep? Because I know this was a tough one for you as well.
Charlie was the first one to ever start making me more diligent, and that was hurdle number one, and he evolved me to, say, level 1. And then when I found Patrick, he's just like so militant, and it did take me 2 months to get into the gist of things, because he just will not. It's just carb cycling. That's it. So it's high carb day, moderate day, low day, and then he just you follow procedure, and I guess. And then every now and then, I think I went 12 weeks straight with that single refeed. And I remember 1 month into it, or 4 weeks into it, so I'm thinking I'm definitely needing a refeed. And I asked him, and he looked capital letters. He's like, "What the fuck do you want a refeed for?" And he's like, "You've only been dieting 4 weeks." And I thought, "Holy shit! Like, we usually have them weekly, And then he was like offended, and I was like, "Oh, okay." But then we got really close after that. But he gave me two or three meals, the whole prep off the plan, and I still had strict guidelines. And these were big deals. It was like Christmas Day, Levi's birthday, and then my birthday. But they were the only days that where I was allowed to eat off the plan. And he said to me, like, go and have like Asian or sushi, and he said nothing fried, no dairy, and it was strict guidelines, So it was pretty hard. But after months of it, I literally stopped thinking about burgers in the end, and I was never watching those burger ads on TV or drooling like I used to be. I just stopped thinking about them altogether. So,
do you think it was beneficial doing what you did? Like, do you looking at yourself in the package that you brought to these shows? Do you think there was that much more of a difference not incorporating cheat meals to preps where you did incorporate cheat meals?
I hate to say it, but I honestly, yes, I do. I do. We spoke about this the other day with Pat, and he was talking about some certain other well-known coaches and their big refeeds and their muffins and their pizzas and all this shit. And he reckons over time, when you have the cleaner food, number one, the next day I was performing better in the gym. So when I have the calculated refeed, I'll go to gym on Monday and I wake up fresh with energy, and I was not bloated, and I was stronger. Where the old school way where you just, let's be honest, just shove as much food as possible. I wake up the next morning often bloated, sometimes got a bit of the runs or a bit crook in the guts, or you're dropping your guts all day and you feel like shit. You don't perform like an athlete. You feel a bit. And sometimes I'd hold water for 3 days, but with his ones, they're calculated to the point where some days I'll wake up lighter the next day, and then he'd go do it again, and he'd do it 2 days in a row. They were very slow, incremental refeeds, and I'd perform better in the gym. So over time, if you looked at that before and after I posted the other day, I grew heaps in that prep. Like, I got bigger and bigger, and I felt like I was getting bigger and stronger throughout the prep, and I truly noticed my strength and size was holding a lot better having calculated quality food as opposed to just like fried chips and burgers and stuff like that. So,
do you know what your calorie intake was on the high, moderate, and low days?
I know off the top of my head, the carbs were, high day was 600, moderate day was about 350, and low was 200. We never went below 200. So I thought it was lower than that till I actually added up and told Logan and Adam, but it was just 200 was the low, that was my depletion days, which in previous years I've gone 0 or 100 grams, but we only went down to 200. And then every now and then he would do a real high one where this high day times 1.5, so that would be 900 grams of carbs. And that was sort of pretty random, but because sometimes I do a high day and drop weight, and I'll do a high day again, drop weight, and then he'd have to do a couple in a row. But it was 203.
Did he have your high days on specific body part days that you train in the gym? Like, was your high days your back and your leg days, or did it?
That was up to me. So I structured the training, and I just always did that. So if he gave me a high day, I would move around I'd think about it scientifically every single time. So when I started to struggle, And he gave me a high day. If I didn't want to train legs, it was too bad. I'd go and train legs because I thought it's smarter to train legs now. And then I'd train legs or back always on the high days. And my protein was like 330 protein as well. Fats were bare minimal, like absolute minimum trace fats. So he's high carb, low fat. Moderate protein was moderate, I guess. So that was the macros anyway. But I never really added up the calories, to be honest. Once you know the macros, we played around with them, And when I done the carb load for NZ, you wouldn't even believe it. I only carb loaded on like 500 to 550 grams of carbs.
Did you deplete for that at all?
No, he does it early. Like he'll start Patrick starts really early. So 2 weeks out, the NZ was the hardest bit of my life. He went 6 days low. And I was like 2 days into the low, 3 days into the low, and I was already the leanest I'd ever been. And I walked in the gym with Logan, and I said, I was dying, man. I was like, I said, I'm getting a refeed tomorrow. Thank God. I'm pushing to the limit. And I took some photos of Logan, and I sent them to Pat, and he goes, push till Sunday. And I was like, what? And I swear it was one of the lowest days I ever had. Like Logan said to me straight away, man, I've never seen you push as hard. I don't even think I could go how deep into the darkness you're going right now, because you can see I was dying. And I said, he just texted me and go to Sunday. And the first time in my career, I said to him, I'm out. I go, I won't make it. I said, Pat, I've never pulled out of a show. I will not make it to Sunday. I could barely even walk to the car. I kept feeling like getting jelly legs, and feel like I was going to fall over. And a couple of times, even at World Gym Coomera, I kept falling onto the ground, like my legs would give way. I was just so wrecked. And then I backed my car into the fence the next day at Coomera, and I just had it repainted, and I backed it in the fence and smashed the back of it. And then he just said really calmly, he's like, never blew up. He's like, come on, man, you've got this. Do you want to make the Olympia or not? And then he's just like, just take it day by day. You'll wake up better tomorrow. And then the next day I wake up a little bit better. And then he just took it sort of day by day, and he was always very calm. And he sends me long voicemails, and he's like, you've got this, man. Come on, bro. You're looking better. Think about the Olympia. How bad do you want it? And he just kept reassuring me. And then some days were better than others. Even when the dark bits, the next day would be better. And then we got to Saturday morning, and then he refed me. And then after that, it was easy till the NZ, because Saturday was like 6 days out. He actually gave me moderate carbs all the way to New Zealand. So I thought it was going to be like hell for the final 2 weeks, but he fed me up all the way to the plane. And then we just did two more low days when we got there to get rid of the water, and then he carved me up again. So he sort of puts you through the hell part 2 weeks out. I'd say 2 weeks to a week out, and then that's the hard part. So it's a bit different to what I've ever done,
Hey, is it true that Logan signed up with him?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I should announce
that. That means yes. That means yes. How did you get onto him, Aaron?
Oh, man, I've just followed him. Me and Logan always brainstorm with each other all the time. We always watch the same stuff, and we were always watching him. And I was like, man, he all his athletes are shredded, and it's not just being shredded. I felt like I was shredded when I won my pro card. It was they get full and shredded, and their glutes, all of them have crazy glutes. I'm like, what are they doing there? What magic potions are they using? So I watched for ages and ages, and he preps a lot of shorter guys too, and he gets them, and they're average guys, then they become amazing. And I just send them assist training, and then one messaged him, and I said, "You ever coach anyone from Australia?" He said, "No." And to be honest, I think I told Gally the story. I texted him some photos, and he said, "Mate, I think that you have a physique worthy of making Olympia." And I was like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, I truly believe that." And he's like, "Look, I'm happy to coach you and this and that." And he's like, "If you don't place, you don't pay me a cent." So I was like, "Okay." I was like, and then I was ringing Gallon Logan. I'm like, "Man, he thinks I'm going to place in the pro show." Freaking out. He goes, "If you follow my plan, you'll be able to." But I must admit, the first couple of months were hard. He gives you a lot. The diet's pretty complicated, and a lot of things at different times of the day. And even his health supplements is a long list of stuff that he gets you to get. So it's not very simple to follow.
Are they vitamins for your heart and shit like that?
Yeah, everything, man. And stuff you never heard of. And I'm like, what's this? And I've got to Google it. And some stuff you can't get in the country, and it's just full on.
Same with Matt Jansen, same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then but everything has explanation. He'll send me a voice message, and he sounds American on his voice message, but he's Swedish. But he'll tell me why you have this, why you have that, and yeah, his hormone knowledge and everything else is just, he's just so smart, man, like freakishly smart. So
Tell us about, obviously, after you won that the New Zealand Pro, you had a couple of weeks to the Indy Pro. So tell us about those 2 weeks, because I know that was tough for you too, because you did go to the Arnolds. Obviously, what you used muscle.
So the 2 days out from the NZ Pro was, I don't know if you noticed, I disappeared off social media when I landed in NZ because I had a hell 2 days because we couldn't get into our apartment at 3 a.m. I had a 2-year-old child. We're out in the rain and we couldn't get in our apartment because they didn't tell us they left a key in the key box and didn't tell us what number our apartment door was.
Traveling just doesn't agree with you, does it? Because the same thing happened when you did the amateur the Arnold.
That was the worst part of competing of my life. Like, imagine the 5-6 hour flight plus 2 hour airport fuck around. Then we spent 2 hours trying to get into this apartment, and I had this Instagram follower. His name's Bradley Tick. He's on Instagram. Nicest guy ever. He dropped me there and gave me all my food and everything. He made 2 days worth of food for me, just out of his own goodness of his heart. Praise the Lord he was there. I said, can you just hang around for a second? I've got a gut feeling this is going to go bad. And I predicted it. And then it went bad, and me and him were running around the hallway. I said, bro, there's 200 rooms here. How do we were literally trying the key in every door. I was putting my key in random people's doors at 3 a.m. Imagine how much they were shitting themselves. And I said, someone's going to call the police. And then my son he's running around the streets in the 3 o'clock in the morning, jumping in puddles and stuff. And then he goes, look, do you want to come back to my house? I said, oh, righto. So we went back to his house. We got to bed at 5:30 a.m.
At his house?
Like, I got to bed. The sun was coming up when I went to bed.
At his house? At Bradley's house?
Yeah, and all my mates were like, how do you look? And I'm like shit.
Fuck off.
The next day, I didn't reply to everyone, and everyone's like, where's he gone? Man, I had 3 kilos of water. I had cankles. I was so stressed. So it took me 2 days to get rid of the water, and even the next day I was still watery, and I'm going to even Adam and Logan. I'm like, man, I'm so watery. Like, I didn't want to talk to anyone. And at the same time, people on social media going, oh, Aaron could win this. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a letdown, man. Like, I'm going to look terrible. And then, like, it was Mo Masawi's in his shop that day. I started drying up, and that's when I took that side shot in, like, a G-banger in his sub shop. That's the day before I just started leaning up at the last minute. Because the water took a few days to get off. So,
how many days before the show did you land in New Zealand?
I landed Wednesday, and the show was Saturday. Yeah, so I only just started coming together Friday morning. Like Wednesday and Thursday, I looked like an absolute bag of shit. Like I looked so.
It's lucky you landed there early.
And my glutes, like I left with shredded glutes, and my glutes were like really soft, soggy and soft, and I was just freaking out about the glutes. So they just looked like they were fat. Yeah, and right. And then thank God it come together. Then in between the shows, I was running on a high, so I was qualified for the Olympia. So I messaged Joe and said, "Do you want me to come down to Melbourne?" He's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Fucking, I'm come. I'm running on a high," and so I went down to Melbourne, and that was a fun weekend, but that was tiring as well. I lost 2 kilos on that Saturday at the expo. So then Patrick refed me again on Saturday night. I was allowed to go for a steak and veggies and that with Logan and James. I went to dinner at the Crown Casino Saturday night in between the shows. That was fun. And because I lost 2 kilos that day, I did 17,000 steps on my Apple Watch, which is a lot for me. And I was running on a high. But then when I got back to the Gold Coast that Monday, I felt like a freight train hit me.
Did you say you obviously in those 2 weeks you didn't anticipate? Well, you probably anticipated it, but you didn't put all your eggs in the one basket and thinking that you would walk away winning the New Zealand show. So you had already signed the contract for the Indy Pro. Would you have done that Indy Pro if you hadn't already signed the contract?
Yeah, I would have probably still done it. To be honest, I would have done the Island Pro after the Indy Pro, even if I won both shows, because I wanted to leave the naysayers with nothing to say. I would have loved to go 3 wins. Which who knows if I could have done it or not. 3 shows, 3 wins, and then create a record that would be almost impossible to beat. How many pros would go out there and win their first 3 pro shows in a row when I was so close to doing it, because like NZ Pro was a win, Indy Pro I lost by 1 point, and then the Island Pro promoters messaged me and said, "Do you want to do the Island Pro?" And I'm like, I really do actually want to do the Island Pro, but I promised my family I was doing Disneyland. So I went to Disneyland. If we weren't doing Disneyland, Jade even said that she would have just flown home, and I would have flown straight to Ireland and done that, and then flown home just to do 3 shows back to back. Yeah, you can never say what you're going to place, but I felt like the Island Pro was the weaker lineup of the three. At least it was weaker than Indy Pro anyway, I think. But
was that an Olympia? Sorry, yeah, was that an Olympia qualifier also? You're saying they all are now anyway. So
yeah, that's Samir. Right. Is it Samir Haddad? How do you say his name, Gully?
Oh, I know you're talking about Samir Haddad.
Yeah, and he's like an OG, like a real old school. He's been doing it for a long time, but he won it, But I would have done that as well. So I really wanted to see where I stood in the American. I just wanted to see where I stood against the American pros, man. I really just wanted to see where I was there. I would have done it no matter what happened, So
obviously Shawn Rhoden's we all know Shawn quite well, and he's a great guy. So we saw some photos of you go up when you were training at Gold's Venice prior to the Indy Pro, and they were in the posing room. There were some great pictures. What was Shawn's? I mean, how did he act around you? Like, did he have any sort of words of encouragement, or he looked pretty impressed from the photos we saw, but how was he?
Yeah, Shawn's like, man, he doesn't say too much, but these days, like, I'm really close to him these days. Like, it's really cool to see, like, how much he looks after me, like, treats me like I'm his family, like, anything that I need help with, like, he's just no problems, man. Like, anything you need, man, come see me, come around my house, anything, like, he's just so helpful, and introduced me to all the boys this time, like, I was there with his training partner and Stanimal, Stanimal.
Yeah,
he's a nice guy. And his other training partner, his name's Hunter. He's a Spanish guy. He's an absolute legend. And, like, I was just hanging out with them most of the time. And then Breon Ainsley was there for a night or so. We spoke for, like, an hour and a half, man, like, at 9 o'clock at night. Breon didn't start training till, like, 10. And, yeah, like, I can't thank Shawn enough for all the help he gave me, And then straight away, I'm like, do you want to have a quick, do some posing? He's like, yeah, man, let's go. Like, he was, like, pumped. And he says the same sort of thing every time. He goes, man, you're peeled. Like, but he's a positive person. Shawn will never tell you anything negative. That's the only thing with Shawn. Like, if you're off, he probably wouldn't say it. He'd probably go, oh, you're good, man. And he wouldn't. Shawn's not. I've never seen him an arrogant, mean bone in his body. I don't think he'd tell me that I look bad. You know?
Just ask him about Phil, and he'll have plenty of mean things to say. He doesn't like you.
We spoke about that for a while. That was about 40 minutes.
Is Shawn back training with Charles Glass?
No, he wasn't when I was. Oh, no, he is. I think, yeah. He wasn't. Yeah, he was a bit there when I was there. But to be honest, like, he trained with Stan almost every time I was there. Yeah. Him and Stan, didn't look very high intensity either, to be honest.
No, I said to
him, like, do you lift any weight or just talk the whole time? Like, he just talks the whole time.
Yeah.
It's fucking genetics for you. They don't even have to fucking train hard, man.
Shawn is all genetics, to be honest. Like, I'm not saying he doesn't work hard. He works hard for sure, but, he definitely loves to chat. That's for sure.
So when do you think it mentally and emotionally sunk in for you that you're actually doing the Olympia? Like, I think for everyone, well, for me anyway, I think it sunk in more when I saw your name on the list. That was oh shit, that's Aaron's name on the list. You know what I mean? Like, that was the biggest, that was where it really sunk in for a lot of people. But what about for you? Was it as soon as you won, or did it take a few days for you to actually?
It took weeks. It took, honestly, weeks. Like, as I said, I couldn't sleep before the show because I had anxiety because I was and joke bad I had it at the gym that day. Logan's like, bro, I know this is a long shot, but this could happen. He goes, can you imagine if you won NZ and you went to the Olympia and I do the amateur Olympia, then we go to the Olympia at the same time, we both do the Olympia. And I said, oh man, can you imagine that? And that helped me through that day that I was struggling. And I said, look, it's only a 10% chance, but I said, bro, I'll go to the death trying to get that to happen. And it actually happened, But even like when we got back from NZ back home, I didn't sleep for the 3 days after either. I was back in my own bed. I'm like, I'll sleep like a baby now. I kept waking up in the middle of the night thinking, I'm going to the Olympia. And I just could not sleep, man. Like, and then I was up again at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was putting it on my Insta story. I wake up at 3:30 a.m. and go to the gym.
I don't think it's sunk in for you yet, to be honest. Like, I think it'll sink in when you're at the airport and you hop on that plane and you know this is where you're going. You're going to Vegas to compete.
When I see my name on the list, I did lose my shit. Like, I looked at it about 20 times, kept showing Jade. I'm like, look, what do you scroll down the bottom? Look, who's down the bottom? She's like, yeah, I can see your name. I'm like, yeah, it's crazy the way. You know?
Hey, when does the official prep start? Because I know you sent me a photo yesterday. You're on the treadmill at, I guess it would have been about 5:30 in the morning. So you obviously kept your cardio up. But when's Patrick got you actually putting the foot down again?
Oh, so we're doing detox phase for a while. I think probably, I would say, probably 2 months. 6 weeks. So I'm just trying to stay in condition, but more so keep healthy. So the detox is actually a detox. I think my biggest flaw in previous years is you do a detox and then you're out eating all this shit and you're undoing all your hard work. So I'm staying in condition so I can prep less. So I reckon I can get away with a 12-week prep. So that's reason number one. And reason number two, just so I'm obviously fulfilling the full detox phase out and trying to act like an Olympia person doing Olympia prep. So I'm acting like myself. I was there this morning, as you said, doing stepper. I did my prep routine. I did stepper for half an hour. I did 50 lunges, 3 sets of 50 lunges, and I trained glutes for 2 exercises and then come home. So I was doing that morning routine 3 or 4 times a week, my whole prep.
Yeah. Like Richie said before, I mean, obviously hitting you that you now do the Olympia stage, but it's something, I know you haven't been there yet. And I remember you saying to me one time, you never wanted to go to the Olympia unless you were doing it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome to say that this is going to be your first Olympia and you are actually doing it.
You just ruined my I've been meaning to put that on a status. I haven't done it yet.
Right.
I was like,
Rich could take this part out.
I only told you that, and maybe Charlie came up with that idea. He goes, "You never go on the Olympia until you're in the Olympia." And I always used to think it was the craziest statement. I'm like, I want to go so bad, but every year the Nationals is on just before it, so I always compete in the Nationals. And then Charlie said last year, "No, you're not going until you're in the Olympia." And then I was like, "Oh, that could be years," And then that was the plan. And I said, "Oh, fuck it. Well, that's a plan then. That's a plan." But thank God I got it because I really wanted to go this year. So, yeah. He said the same thing with a little belt that I got. I never wanted to get one of those Cardillo belts until I could have IFBB Pro on it. And I wanted one for 2 years. And I had to wait.
Now you're going to have that Olympia tracksuit too, which I'm pretty envious of, that they give to all the competitors.
Charlie said the same thing to me with the Cardillo belt, so I just ordered mine on the weekend, but it says IFBB Pro motor on the bottom. I'll just run with that from now.
You should get that made. Man, it's so expensive, man. The belts are expensive as hell. I think the belt cost me like $400.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
Hey, they're the best belts, but man, nothing compares when you have one. Nothing compares. They're the best belts.
I'm just worried about ordering one and not getting the right size and then rocking you up and.
Yeah, I know. You have to. Yeah.
Let's go back. Let's go back to the detox you were talking about. Besides the obvious detox that you have to do at this time, or the obvious part of the detox, in regards to the rest of it, are you eating differently in regards to lowering your protein to give your kidneys a bit of a break, or?
Yeah, he does that. Yeah. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, he proteins as I said was 330, so he wants about 100 grams of protein a day. So I took it on my own. The responsibility to just pretty much start eating a lot of vegan meals, to be honest. And I kept making these jokes going, vegan life, and people like messaging me on Instagram going, "Are you a vegan now?" But I'm only
roll with it because you can sell that many plans now. Roll with it, yeah.
Why? Because Jade eats vegan meals, and sometimes she gives them to me, and they taste better than anything. But I never want to eat them because they're low protein. And then I thought, I might as well eat vegan meals because they're fulfilling and they're low protein. So I ordered muscle meals like. Not to cheekily give them a plug, but that's what I did. I ordered 80% vegan meals, and Jade and I have been eating vegan meals, and sometimes I throw 1 or 2 eggs on top. But yeah, it's a struggle keeping the protein low. It's like it feels weird, but I feel healthy. Like I feel strong in the gym. I don't feel like it's affecting me at the moment, but it's only been like a week and a half, 2 weeks. So
what about your digestion? Does it change your gut health a little bit more, or do you think that's pretty much?
Well, I don't really notice any difference. I'm in condition like that. That's for sure, but maybe that's to do with the detox and having low water retention. But I eating a lot of fiber. My digestion seems fine. I had that cheat meal last night. I went to Milky Lane and ate all the burgers and all the chips and all the shit. But you got to live at some point. Like if I don't have burgers, then I'm not gonna have them the whole year. So
you've got the 8-week detox that you're doing now.
Yeah.
So how long does that give you to prep? So how many weeks out are you officially starting prep?
I think it's like 20. Galley Pro knows better than me, but I think it's like 23 weeks out now. So that only gives 15 weeks.
It's
so
about 22 weeks now.
Yeah, so it's going to be like 12 to 14 week prep then, isn't it? And, I was thinking I was going to do this cheeky little off season in between, but I don't think that's really going to happen. It's just I don't want to sacrifice my health to try and chase another kg. Yeah. It's my first Olympia. I just want to be the leanest person on stage, so that's what I'm going to try and do. So I'm not. At first, I was like, I'm going to get home. I'm going to do a bulk. I'm going to do a 2-month, seeing how much I can fit in. But now I just want to make sure I'm 100% reset, and then just as I said, I grew into the last prep. So if I can manage to grow half a kilo to a kilo all on my back and chest, I'll be winning.
That was my next question. Is Patrick expecting you to grow leading into this prep, or bring up any weak areas at all, or is he happy to bring the same package?
We haven't discussed that yet, but like when we know what needs to work is my chest and back, which has been the main focus for the last year and a half. And they have improved, but they just take the longest. I reckon for me, the chest just takes longer than others. I don't know why. It's just a stubborn body part. But the back has definitely improved. Like I looked back at my videos last night, and back's come up a lot. But it's still, you got to remember, I'm comparing it to Flex Lewis, so it's still got light years to go. So that's the focus. But most of the time, the training he leaves up to me. So he's always just all the diet and all the protocols and everything. So Charlie rings me sometimes and tell me what to focus on in training, and the best time I just bounce my training off me, Adam, Charlie, Logan, sort of thing. But Patrick's never really done. I've never had a coach do my training ever, my whole career. Never. I've always done my own training, which is a bit of a fun fact.
Have you had much positive feedback from the pros, more so in Indy, that you've competed with? Obviously, there was a bigger lineup there. Any of the guys that have sort of helped you out or you've got along with?
It was cool when I was back there, and I I can imagine Gally would be fanboying. Like I was thinking about you, and I sat down, and then Kuklo come up to me, like he won the year before. There's like 70 people in the room, and there was no chairs available, and I had a chair next to me, and he comes up.
Gally wouldn't be fanboying. We were hanging out backstage with Rolly and William Monarch. We were chilling. We're part of the boys now.
I didn't think he would know me. And he put his hand on my shoulder and he goes, "Hey, brother, congrats on New Zealand. You look really good. You're peeled." I was like, "Oh, thanks, man." I'm like, "Oh, he's watching, And he goes, "Can I sit here?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then he sat there next to me. And then Luke Sando come in. And then I've been speaking to Luke a little bit on Instagram. He come and goes, "Oh, can I sit next to you?" And he sat on the left of me. So I had Kuklo and Luke Sando, which is like the two biggest names in the show, left and right of me. And we were talking the whole time. And I wanted to pull my phone out and take a photo, but I didn't want to be a fag, so I just didn't do it.
You should have been a fag, because that would have been a memorable moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's hard not to be fanboyish when it's like you see. It was pretty much my debut there as well. I've only just done the one before that in New Zealand, and this was the first one that had all the well-known pros. And I
think a lot of the pros backstage, like a lot of the pros at the Arnold backstage, they're all fanboys as it is now. Like, they, you know what I mean? Like it's one of those things. Like everyone was like, "Oh, look, there's Rolly." You're like, yeah, I don't think you would have been.
They're both cool guys too, aren't they? Like, look, we spoke to Luke a bit at the Arnold's. Luke's a good guy. He's so funny.
Yeah,
Luke's, man. Yeah,
he's very down to earth.
Yeah, but Kuklo's like the nicest man. He's like the nicest dude. One of the nicest ones I've spoke to. So, but even the 212 guys, I couldn't believe the camaraderie in that division, man. Like, except for not to lay hate on anyone, but maybe it could be a language barrier. But the guy that won, the Mexican guy, like he came off, maybe like he done the whole death stare thing. But everyone else in the division, we were having a ball, man. Like me, Charles Dixon, Errol Moore, and a couple other good dudes were side stage, like dancing and mucking around and like taking the piss. Like we were having the funnest time, and we were during the posing routines, during our own routines, we were pointing side stage, looking at each other, like laughing at each other. Like it was the funnest time ever. I'd never had that much fun, like being laid back, and no egos, man. Like they were like, "Oh, you look unbelievable, bro. Like, you want to kill it." Like there's no egos with all the American guys that I hung out with. And even the guy that got third, the German guy, Enrico, he was a legend as well. But I couldn't believe the camaraderie. I thought it'd be real serious and like.
Do you think that's because it's a 212 class and it's more, it's not as mainstream as the Opens? Do you think that the 212s are kind of got to look after each other a lot more and Because there's a lot of 212 names that a lot of people don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, and especially now when there's a lot of new names coming through the ranks and a lot of the older guys are starting to drop off and retire. Like, there's a new breed of 212s coming out.
Yeah, there is. The whole young generation will take over soon. Like, Charles Dixon as well. Like, he was that dude's got more personality than I've ever met on any pro ever. Like, he was literally dancing the whole time side stage. Like, he's a funny dude as well. And I can't believe he's 2 inches shorter than me. He's like that tall.
How old are they all? Are they around your age?
Charles Dixon's old. Like, he'd be, how old would Charles Dixon be, Gally? Well into his 40s, eh?
Yeah, he probably as old as me.
Yeah. Oh, that's real.
All
That's real.
The guys that were in our division were younger guys. All the rest of our division were actually younger guys. So, but they're always older than me. There's not very, very many. A couple guys, I think I've competed against me, 1 or 2 that were younger than me. The rest of them were all well older, you know, like high 30s, 40s, you know.
When did you have an idea that you were possibly one of the front runners for that show? Because Logan and I were, I'll give it to Logan because obviously I was just heading to Florida that day, so it was our times were pretty comparable, which was good. I know Logan was up at 1 or 2 in the morning watching, so we were texting back and forth, and we literally said, "Holy shit, Az could possibly win this." When did you have an idea? Like, was it backstage? As soon as you? I was pretty pumped
that Logan was staying up. Like, you know, I know he's one of my best mates. You know, and you were both like, I was getting messages from you pretty late. I'm thinking, and I looked at my world clock because I got a world clock for all the people that I talk to. I'm like, fuck, it's late in the morning, and Logan was like up non-stop, glued to the screen, texting me going, "Fuck yeah, bro! Fuck yeah, you're killing it!" You know. And when I got there, I thought I was gonna get dusted. Like, not dusted, but I said to my mum and dad, I was like, when they had the tracksuits on, I'm like, they're really big, man. I said to Dad, these guys are big. They're whopping the NZ guys. And they're all weighing in way heavier than me. I know the weight doesn't mean anything, but heaps of them were like 96, 95.8, 96. And I'm like, oh, these guys are really big, you know.
What did you weigh?
And I was 90.
Okay.
199 pounds. So whatever that is, I think it's about 90, a bit over 90.5. That was with shoes on too.
Yeah, right.
And I was just like, they're a lot bigger. But then, I don't know, I sort of realised when we were pumping up backstage, I realised I was the leanest. Like, I was like, I think I'm the leanest one here. And then Kuklo said again, he's like, man, you're shredded, you know? And I was like, and then I didn't realise until I looked in the mirror, like they stood next to me in the mirror. And then when we started posing, I started picking the best ones and I was sort of out posing the best ones. And I thought, fuck, I actually looked, when I stood against Charles Dixon, and I thought, I actually look all right here. I actually look half decent. You know, and then as soon as I did the prejudging, I still didn't know. I walked out and I just went out on my number. I was on the far left. That was just where my number was. I stood there for like 30 seconds. And then I was the first call out. They called my number and put me straight to the middle. And I just literally shit myself. Like, I had to check 3 times. I'm like, that's me. You know, and then they move me in the middle. And I'm like, man, I'm in the middle. And that was the top call out. And then I knew. Then I was winning. Then I come back and everyone was like, oh, you won prejudging. But then I thought I was going to win. That's the only thing. You know, I thought I won the show. Because they said after the first few call-outs, the steward came out and goes, you 3 off the stage. And then I said to the steward, what was that? And he goes, oh, you're top 3. And I was like, holy shit. You know, I couldn't believe it. And then I was like, oh, in worst case, I'm top 3. I told my mum and dad I'd be happy with top 5. And so the dad's like, you said you'll be happy with top 5, so you can't be mad. And I'm like, no, I want to win. But then, yeah, I must admit, it was a bit of a weird feeling when I came out finals and I got second. Like, it was hard to explain. Like, I was super happy. Like, I could see everyone going crazy on Facebook and everything. Australia was like pumped for it, but I was like, yeah, I'm pumped. But like, I thought I was going to win.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's the first time you've come second in a while. You haven't lost the comp in a while.
Yeah, I haven't lost in a while, and it was weird. Like, and Jade had a feeling. She goes, look, I think you should win, but I got a feeling you'll come second. And I'm like, what are you saying that for? What's that mean? I'm like, what do you mean? And Jade, she was right, you know. And then, yeah, it was a weird feeling. Like, and then Gal and Logan, everyone was like, well, Logan's like, fuck, bro, I'm so proud of you. I can't believe it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm happy. And like, are you happy? I'm like, yeah, I'm happy. But it was like, yeah, it's just a weird feeling to describe because I thought I was going to get 2 out of 2. And I thought how great that would have been on paper, like getting 2 pro shows, 2 wins. It would have been, imagine going to Olympia with a clean slate, you know?
Yeah, but that's a better mentality to have, what you have. You know what I mean? Like, to be not dirty, but to be not satisfied enough with second place means that you're only going to work hard to make sure that, Like you're gonna, if you walk away as second at the Olympia, you're probably gonna be like, "This is bullshit."
Yeah. Yeah, that's just the way that I am. I can't change the way I feel. Like I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I can't. People can tell how I feel, and I'm like, I'm happy. They can see that I wasn't 100% ecstatic, and I'm like, people are like, man, you come second in Indy Pro. I'm like, yeah, I know. I wanted the big vase. I didn't want the little vase, But that might be. I might look back at that in September, and it might be the best thing because every time this has happened to me in my career, it's left me with a little bit of fire, and I've used that fire in the prep. So now I've got that fire back where I want to beat Noel, which is the Mexican guy. No disrespect to him, but I want to get him in the Olympia. So that's giving me enough.
To be honest, I thought you beat him. What do you
now to get him back?
What do you reckon, Gully? Do you reckon that there was a chance that maybe they did give it to him because you had already qualified for the Olympia? Do you reckon a little bit of politics might have been involved, or you don't know? Has that crossed your mind?
Yes.
I'll ask you this question, Aaron.
How would I know that?
Yeah.
No, I'm asking Aaron. I was going to ask you something different, Gully.
A few people have said that to me, but thinking about it and thinking about it doesn't change anything. Like Logan, it was Jane. Logan's partner Jane just said, "Look, just move on. Like you've got second. It's unbelievable. Just focus on September." And like you can think about it till the cows will come home, and you'll never know. You'll never ever know what happened. Like I guess I could ask judges' feedback. But I think if it boils down to it, you can't really get too mad because he was bigger than me. He was definitely bigger. I felt I was definitely leaner, but his quads were massive, man. He was the bigger man. So
that guy that beat you, the Mexican guy, beat Mahale in the Mexico Super Show last year to win his pro card, and was 107 kilos on stage.
He told me that. How is that even possible?
Fuck, man, I saw photos, and he looks twice the size. He really dieted down and obviously lost a significant amount of muscle to get to 212.
Yeah. So they're the positives for September. So he weighed in on the dot. So I've got 6 kilos to go up, and I'm obviously not going to move up much in this year. But I've got 6 kilos to improve, mate. Assuming that I improve. But he's got nowhere to go. So and my shape, like I had a superior structure and shape, and I was leaner. So if you look in the long term, I'm in the better position. So I'm not worried about that. I'm more looking in the long term. I've moved on from that.
Even talking about long term, even short term, I think that your physique is more suited to an Olympia physique than his is, because he's a lot blockier, and yours is the type of physique that they're going to look at and say we'd rather name him Mr. Olympia than this guy.
Yeah, so I feel like I could get it back in September, and I always feel good that they gave him first then, because it's like, if I did win, then I sort of owe you one in September, and then if I deliver it, the package, I think I'll do better then. So there's no reason why I can't be in then. So
another bloke you'd be going up against who you've competed against before is Ahmed Ashkanani.
Yeah, man, he was. I likened him to Ahmed Ashkanani, but to be honest, man, Gretchen, you compete against Ahmed. Have you seen this Noel dude? He was freakier than Ahmed, man, because he had the freaky legs. So Ahmed had the big back, but that Noel dude had so many lumps and bumps. He was like a little mutated cow, man. Like, it was like, so you see him, I was like, damn, he's got some muscle, that guy. But it was a little bit sloppy, and the waist was wide, but Jesus Christ, his quads, like, I don't think I've been out-quadded since I've competed as a pro, and he front on had like a half an inch on my sweep. Like, they were huge quads, So he's super thick.
So what are the plans moving forward? Like, have you heard from the Olympia promoters, or have they been in contact with you in regards to flights over there, accommodation, where you need to stay, anything like that? Like, tell us a little bit about the process of what happens now for people that don't know.
Actually, you're funny to ask that. Like, I've been waiting to you get a letter from them, or I haven't got one yet. But I've been talking with my sponsors, Outbreak, Terry Katz from Outbreak. So we're looking at booking accommodation at the moment. We're looking at Mandalay Bay the other day, but they didn't have self-contained apartments, and me and Patrick wants me to have a full self-contained apartment this year. So I don't know if I'll go where the athletes stay. I think all the athletes stay. Where do they stay?
They stay at the New Orleans, but none of them actually stay there.
Yeah, because I've spoke to a few. I won't name names. Apparently, they said it's really average. So, or some of them walked in there and it's so bad they walked straight back out and got another hotel. So, me and Terry are looking at places at the moment. I'm looking at like the Hilton, or I think it's the Vidara. on the strip.
Vidara's good. Yeah,
We all
definitely.
remember that, Gretchen?
We had a good night there.
Yeah, very good night.
Yeah, so,
you won't be having that type of night there till after the Olympia.
No.
so we're looking at booking that in the next couple of weeks, and I don't know. I guess eventually Olympia will send you a contract. I'm assuming, 'cause that'll be cool on that day.
Hey, how much does the prize money mean to you? Is it just the bonus, or do you actually use that as a little bit of motivation now, or do you think it's just something that maybe later on towards the end of your tail end of your pro career where it's more a motivational thing for you?
Yeah, the funny thing is, Logan brought that up. Like I was like 10 days out, and then Logan brought prize money up, and I had not even thought about it. I was like so delusioned and deranged, like thinking about how to try to get shredded. I had not thought about the prize money. And he's like, "Man, you could win some prize money now." I'm like, "Oh yeah." I was like, never thought about it, and I didn't really think about it till I got to New Zealand. And me and Jay were like, "Fuck, I could win prize money here," And then it was a cool feeling cashing your first check, which is my first check was $3,000 US. I think it was like $4,500 Australian. But it's cool because
That's not bad.
yeah, like it's not. People say it's not a lot of money, but man, with how long we've all been bodybuilding, us boys, and you don't get no money for it.
Fuck what
so when you
people
get
think. That's fucking mad.
you get $4,500. I'm like, man, it's $4,500. Like we never got no money the last 6 years. So to me, I was like, good. And I cashed another check at the Indy Pro. That's $2.5 or $2,000 US. So that'll probably be like close to 3,000 or 2,800. A little bit less, but still, makes a big difference.
Is Jade hitting you up to buy her a present for putting up with you for the last 20 weeks?
Oh, she gave. It was her birthday. It was her birthday when we left for LA, and then it was her birthday again when we got to LA 2 days in a row.
Oh wow!
The time how you travel back in time.
Yeah.
She got spending money for that, and then she spent it all on Levi anyway. So.
How much different or how much harder has it been going through a prep now that you're a dad?
Oh man, I get a whole era of dads now. Like you should see the messages I get. That last prep I have days where I get like 40 messages, and so many of them are dads. Some of them don't even like bodybuilding. They're like, "Man, I just follow you because you do all this stuff and you run this business and you're a professional athlete and you got your kid, and I just think you're an inspiration." And like it's hard. It's a lot harder, obviously, because like that morning that we were running around at 3 o'clock in the morning, you got a 2-year-old child, and if he's throwing tannies and once he's up, you got to worry about them, and you got when you're depleted and tired and they want to play choo-choos, you got to try and be there. So it is hard. And then
what the fuck is choo-choos? Trains, okay.
They sort of that's just our life, I guess, the past 6 years. So it's all he ever knows, I guess. Then the benefit of that is he's only he's 2. Before he goes to school to prep, he would have been on a plane probably 50 times. He's already been on a plane like 24 times at 2 years old. So at least he gets to see a lot of the world, and he has ball wherever we are. Like we could be locked in the airport waiting in line, and he's running around trying to climb in the X-ray machines and sliding down the bad rack. Like we can be in the middle of nowhere, and he's had a ball. Like when it started snowing in Indianapolis, he'd never seen snow, and his eyes were lit up. He was like, "Oh my god!" Like so he loves it.
Is it a different type of motivation for you now that you have having him in your life? Or yeah.
As I said all along, when I got that belt, that Cardello belt, I got Levi's name written on the end of the tag. My training went up a whole new level when I would often when I'm training sort of pretend that his life's on the line all the time, and my training went up a whole new level when he was there because I felt like I didn't want him to ever see me lose. And that Indy Pro was my 4th show that he's been to, and that was the first show that I ever lost. Because before that, he'd only ever seen me win, so it was always enough fuel for me I just felt invincible. Every day that I was like dying, I was just thinking like, pretend his life's on the line. Pretend his life's on the line. He doesn't want to see Dad fail, so I just kept pushing deeper and deeper, way past that I've ever gone. But it's a weird feeling. Like you just feel like you can go deeper when you've got someone to do it for.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard a few people say that. Well, so what are you going to be the plans after the Olympia, or you haven't even thought that far ahead now?
Well, Gally reckons I should do the Japan Pro. So
That's in November. Yeah, fucking oath. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I asked Dave about it. I said, I don't know. It's hard. The only hardest part is like, what if we want to celebrate in Vegas? You know, but you can probably get away with a little celebration.
Mate, your celebration in Vegas, you'll come out leaner. Trust me.
Yeah.
you'll just spend one day at a pool party. You'll come out considerably leaner.
We've all discussed this a fair bit, actually, because we're all going to be there. I just presume you're going to be there too, Gretch, until you told me just before we did the show. So
who knows? Who knows how things go? I can't plan it.
John Davies told me the other day that he rang up and extended his trip another week because I'm in the Olympia, so that was pretty cool.
So the World Gym Convention's there the week before. It's always the week before the Olympia. It's stupid that they do that.
Yeah, and he flies home just before it, but he told me the other day, he goes, I rang up and changed it. He goes, I'm not missing this. I'm like, oh, thanks, man.
Yeah. If there's any way of me making it, I'll be there. I'll literally be flying to America for 3 days. And I'll do that. It'll be well worth the shit for me, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, too, Az, when you qualify again for next year's Olympia, they're taking it back to Mandalay Bay. And yeah, so 2020, the Olympia's back at the Mandalay Bay, so you wait till you see that.
Because you could potentially...
Jade said, hey, what about next year? And I said, I'll just do the same circuit again.
Yeah, but you could potentially qualify right after this Olympia, yeah? Well, what is it going to be top? Is it the same as it opens with the top 5 qualify for the next year's Olympia? Galley?
I think it is top 5, yeah. But then if he does Japan...
yeah, but
nails that one.
Yeah, but even if he doesn't win Japan, like if he places top 5, but like Aaron, this is the weirdest thing about this now, because anyone else in your sort of situation in the past, we'll say John Davey for instance, you know what I mean? When John Davey qualified to the Olympia, there was no real expectations of him doing all that great in the Olympia. He ended up coming last or equal last or something, didn't he, Gully? Yeah. But he did it for the experience and to say he did the Olympia, do you know what I mean? And that's a reward in itself. With all of these top pros retiring now, and you got Flex that's out, you got a bunch of other blokes that have all retired now that normally place top 5. They're all out. Like you mentioned before, there's a new breed of youngsters coming into the game in the 212. You're amongst that group. You're already in there. There is a very, very big likelihood that you could place top 5, if not higher. Like, is that something that you take into consideration and think about now? Like, when you compare yourself, who do you compare yourself to on stage? Like, do you compare yourself to, like, Hardy Chopman? He still can't do it, can he, Gally?
No, not as yet. No.
Well, that's another guy. That's another guy that's not even in the equation now. So, really, the next big guy is Ahmed Ashkanani, because he's a guy that plays second. Well, he didn't play second last year, did he?
Derek Langford is the top runner. He's the number 2. So he got second last year because Ahmed went down to 4th, I think, last year.
Right. Yeah, he played second the year before. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
So, you got Jose out. Dave Henry, I'm not sure. It's almost like he never retires, but he may have. I heard a rumor that he's out, but I don't know.
I don't think Dave Henry's playing. Yeah, I don't think he's.
Hardy Chipman's definitely out. Flex is out. That's another reason why the Olympia lineup was going to be. If I won 3 shows, the Olympia lineup would have been small because I've taken 3 qualifications. So
yeah,
I guess you got to factor that in as well. You know, so 3 guys retire and 1 guy wins 3 or 4 shows. What happens then? There's going to be a lot of small lineup.
With Flex Lewis moving on to the Opens, and obviously, you know, I know he's someone you looked up to as well with what he's done in the 212s. Would you have preferred him to be in the show as a motivating factor, or it's not something you're even fussed about?
I said to Jade, to be honest, I actually said I wish he was doing it because like I just as a dream, like he's been my biggest idols in my career from bodybuilding standpoint was always like Flex Lewis, Kevin Levrone, Lee Priest, you know, and I was like, man, it would have been awesome. As much as I want to get an extra position higher, it would have been sick competing against Flex Lewis, man. Like, I really was doing it to being, you know, side by side with him. But obviously it's not going to happen. But I actually do wish he was doing it, but he's not.
Yeah.
Hey, you never know. You could be side by side with him in an open stage one day. You never know.
Yeah. I feel like it's going to take me that long to fill out the 96 kg. But
hey, well, it's taken Flex a long time.
He's 2 or 3 inches taller than me, so.
Hey, we know Charles, all our friend Charles Lothian does all the shoots at the Olympia after the comps. Have you booked one in already? Because he does some epic shoots at Vegas.
I booked it in, yeah. Yeah. We've already sussed it. When he come up here on the Gold Coast not long ago, did my shoot, he said, He's like, we should do one after Olympia. I'm like, yeah, for sure, 100%. Book that in. So
he's got some good places at Olympia, man. The desert or the main strip. He just does some great ones.
You just need to do a pool party shoot. It hasn't been done before. 100% a pool party.
An R-rated.
No, not R-rated. Just you holding a beach ball with a cocktail in one hand, beach ball in the other hand. Be fucking great. All right.
Patrick's other boy, Nicholas Villoid, he's not competing this year either. And he was in the Olympia as well.
He's too tall too, isn't he?
He's out of it as well. There's a few guys. He's having a year off. I don't know why.
Will the Olympia be the first time you've actually met up with Patrick in person?
Yeah, Patrick's coming. So Patrick said, I'm coming just for me. So,
and that'll be the first time.
He wasn't at Indy.
Huh?
He didn't go to the Indy Pro.
No, he didn't go to Indy Pro, but he said he's definitely going to come to Olympia. It was supposed to be just for me, but, man, Patrick's been pulverised by messages from Australians trying to get prepped by him. Like, I think he's had like 30 dudes from Australia want to be coached by him, so... Which is pretty cool to see how much footprint that I have.
Is Adam John Waite one of those guys?
I don't know, man. He's been pulverised. You don't believe this. 2 guys that I competed against, actually 3 guys that I competed against on the stage, messaged Pat to be coached by him after I competed with them.
Pros.
And 2 of them I gave his contacts to, and I think he's coaching 2 of them now. Errol Moore is one of them, which is a mate of mine that I've become good friends with, and another guy, I can't remember his name. He's coaching 212 guys that were in my lineup. So
it sounds like he doesn't feel sorry for you, and that's a thing that you need. He's not gonna if he knows that you're dying for a cheat meal, he's just not gonna feel bad and say tough.
Yeah, he's like a silent assassin. Like he'll be really nice to you, but he'll just say no. Like he won't let up. He'll be like, man, come on, bro, you can get through this. It's all good. But he will not budge. Like it's just no is no.
Did you cheat on the diet ever?
Nah, in the end, you just don't ask. The worst day I ever had, when I almost cracked, I was going literally crazy. I was so hungry. I sculled 3 of those white boom cans. Have you tried a white boom? That's massive Joe sell. Oh man, they're the best.
What are they?
They're like monster. They're like Monster Energy cans, like sugar-free energy drinks. And
they're 500.
They're 500 ml. I sculled 1.5 liters of them in one go. It was like 1,500 megs of caffeine.
Fucking hell!
They taste like lollies. Like they taste like gummy bears.
How did you feel after that?
Oh, fucked up. I got to the Marriott because we were staying at the Marriott, and I didn't want to go to the Marriott, but I booked it a year before that. Middle of my prep, we're going to the Marriott, and I got there, and my stomach was so bloated. I looked like I had 3 sets of twins in my belly. That's so bloated from all the shit that's in the in those drinks. There's obviously some shit in there. And I felt, it was uncomfortable, but I was going to cheat. Like I was so hungry, and but I didn't cheat.
Yeah. I'll tell you, there's not many guys I know that can do a prep like that and not cheat. So I'll give it to you because, that's a tough one. And I saw you personally when I was back home in Austin. Anyway, I saw how you were.
You've never been the type of guy to cheat on your diet, even as an amateur. But do you think that your mentality has changed drastically ever since becoming a pro?
Yeah, you definitely go up a level, and you think you've hit top level, and then you just find another level. Like that's what I found in my career. Like this was definitely the highest level I'll ever go. Then you find another level. That Levi was born, I found another level. Then the pro show, that Patrick prep, then was even Logan said so many times. He goes, I've never ever seen you push this hard, man. Like Logan said to me at one point, he goes, I don't think I could do what you're doing, and that's pretty cool thing to come from Logan because he gets shredded as well, But he's seen the dark days when I was walking in the gym, couldn't barely talk to anyone, and he could see the skeleton face, like had no face left. And
So if anyone wants to get prepped by Patrick, do you want to let everyone know his details now, or?
I don't think you take it. I've stopped. I don't think I can pass anyone on. Like I had 2 today. And one of you.
You're going to get a heap more after this podcast. 100%.
Heaps are from Sydney, but I don't think he can take any more on.
I was going to say, surely he'd be at a cap number that he could do because he obviously the guys he's got now he looks after very well. Like he's a very hands-on coach.
Yeah,
so
he is.
There's only so many people you can do when you're like that.
Yeah, I was sort of hoping he would just take Logan on, so it'd just be me and Logan, But I know he's taking a few.
Yeah,
But
that'd be. Oh, so he's let the cat out of the bag there, haven't you? Yes. So Logan's on.
I think it's 100% with Logan, but but they are talking, and he sees good potential in Logan. And I'll just run it past him before. I'm like, oh, do you reckon you could? What do you reckon you could do with him? Like I said, I started. I was like, showed him photos. And like, look, this is his rear shots are pretty impressive. Do you reckon you can make him fuller and be? I said he needs to be a super heavy. At the moment, he always competes as a heavy. He needs to be a super. I think he'd do better in the supers. And if he can get his arms and chest a little fuller, how dangerous would he be? And he's like, man, he's got crazy potential. So I just want to see what he could do. You know, like Logan knows what he's doing, but everyone just wants to see the full blown 102, 103 kilo Logan.
Exactly. Yeah, and I agree. I agree with you. I said this to Logan last week. I think if anyone can do it, I think Patrick can definitely get him in the right space. And I think what will make it easier for him is you're doing the Olympia, so you guys are doing the same prep.
Yeah, because Logan's like, I don't know if I can do the no. Logan said straight to me, I don't know if I can do that diet. I don't know if I can do the no cheat meal thing. I said, you can do it, man, because I did it. And then I was like you. I said, if I can do it, you can do it. And then the sort of fact that we'll be doing it together, I think will help as well, because when you're going to make doing it side by side with you can sort of ride each other's.
100%. Yeah. I honestly don't even know if he could do it without you, to be honest. Like, you need a supporting partner, but that cheat meal thing, that's a head fuck. Because that's kind of like your reward at the end of the week, and it refreshes your motivation. Like,
I don't think I could do it. I'll be honest.
He needs someone that has done it and can keep him going. And with you there, I think 100%. Yeah.
I said you'll be able to do it, man, but you're going to have to train on Sundays. And he doesn't. That's his golden rule. He doesn't train on Sunday. I said my biggest coping mechanism was Sunday was cheat day and UFC day, and go to the mate's house and have a barbecue and eat KFC day. So I had to stay home a lot, and I would train in the morning. Would do family stuff throughout the middle of the day, then I'd train again at night, and that's the only way was doing a double training session that I would stop thinking about food, because if I was at home, everyone's cheating on Sunday.
How was Jade with that? How was Jade with that? Like this, like I know, like we've all got supporting partners, but I know my missus will miss the one-on-one date nights. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Like, is that something that she missed and it was a little bit hard on her, or is that something that she just completely understood and supported you the whole way through?
Oh, she understood 100%. The thing we suffer with the most that we don't go out for dinners much anymore because Levi can't do late dinners. So we sort of stopped doing dinners. Like our family nights are Uber Eats in and watch a movie. So we weren't Uber eating anymore. That sucked. But I would just try and incorporate, as Gally was there one day, we would go to Surfers Paradise and do a family walk with Levi, and it's not very productive when he comes. and then they would have breakfast, and I just learned to do this is even harder. They would have breakfast in front of me, and I would bring my breakfast I would eat my omelette at home, and I'd bring my oats to the coffee shop and have a black shot of coffee, and they would eat their normal breakfast, and I'd have to obviously smell it. And then I would get boiling water in my oats and just eat with them at the cafe, so we felt like we're having a cheat day.
You're still spending time together.
Yeah, so she would have coffee, and she'd have smashed avocado on toast or whatever, and Levi has, peanut butter on toast or whatever he has, or eggs, and we have a family little outing. But I was just having my normal oats, and Gally was there a couple of times maybe, and that was our cheats. So yeah, that's what we did.
Yeah, mad. So. Hey, all right, we should probably wrap up because we are keeping you a little bit late. But we give yourself a bit of a plug. So give your clothing thingies a bit of a plug now, because we've all got your shirts. I don't know if Gally's got his yet, but they're good quality shirts. And now you've got your winter merchandise coming out. So your AP Apparel, and now you're also personal training out at Coomera. So give yourself a bit of a plug, and if anyone wants to get in contact with you for shirts and merchandise and PT, what do they need to do?
I had the shirt first day. I'm not even wearing one, but so it's www.aaronpilates.com. So I've got 2 shirts out: the 212 Pilates like basketball type tee, and then the How Bad Do You Want to Win, which is like a suffering type prep tee, which went crazy. Like when it first came out, I think I sold like 400 of them. So they're slowing down a little bit now, but you can get them on the website. And I've got 2 hoodies out now: the 212 Pilates basketball type hoodie with a small pocket logo, and the Step Into the Darkness hoodie, which is the hashtag that I started during that last prep. It was all about that mentality, can you step into the darkness, and how long can you stand being in the darkness? So that's sort of taken off now, that step in the darkness hashtag. I wasn't sure if people would understand it as much, but I guess when I went to Indy and like I was lean, people sort of respected it a little bit more about,
It makes sense.
It's just the cool prep footy. Like I gave one to Logan yesterday. He's like, "Fuck, it looks sick." It's double black on the front and blood red on the back, and it's just like, it's got step in the darkness. It's just it's a really good prep footy. It's just like that mentality of how uncomfortable are you willing to get, and how long can you stay in the fall? Because most people can't handle it, and that's bodybuilding. It's and some guys are crazy, they can just handle it for forever and ever and ever, So, but yeah, you can get them on aaronpilates.com and thanks guys for the support so far. Like before the show is far out. Before NZ, Jade was like, man, packing and sending like non-stop all day. We're pumping them out. So appreciate it all. It all helps towards the Olympia. And in a month or two when I start my Olympia prep, I will bring out Olympia t-shirt. So which will be cool. So
that'll be cool.
I'll give you up.
That'll sell like hotcakes.
Yeah,
because then people will feel like they're directly like depositing towards your Olympia prep because like you got an Olympia shirt and it's just it's an Australian in Olympia. Like I'm surprised Josh never bought an Olympia shirt.
It's not only that; it's people that can't be there that want to be there. They'll be watching the Olympia at home wearing your Olympia shirt. You know what I mean? Like that'll be a cool feeling knowing that's happening.
I've got to make sure all the ones that are coming too, like Gally and all the boys, have one as well. So I've had this little epitome of the day. Need to get like a photo of everyone at the front of the stadium or something with all the matching shirts on. That I reckon that'll look boss. When I got my own little Australian little posse wearing it all,
At the athlete meet and greet, we'll be mad with you there.
I was gonna say, Aaron, how good is it? I just ended my head then when Gretchen said it. The meet and greet at the Olympia. That's fucking how good is that?
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Yeah.
No, you're gonna kill it, bro. All right.
I've never been. I don't know what it looks like.
I've never been to one in the whole times I've been.
I've never been to a meet and greet.
I've never been to a meet and greet, but I will this year.
Even I have.
I will this year.
Yeah, right. They're pretty full on, man. They're fucking packed.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And it's in a U. Like the area they have it in, like upstairs. It's like there's no. Yeah, it's all blocked off in the middle.
Oh no, sorry. No, tell a lie. I did go for the first time ever last year. That's right. I remember Shawn Rhoden. Yep. Sorry.
There you go.
The second time this year.
All right.
Anyway,
Aaron, thanks for coming on. Gally, thanks for getting up nice and early.
It's all right. Go back to bed for an hour.
If you want to contact Aaron for shirts, get onto his website, and we'll put a little thingy on the bottom here so people can click on the website too, and or message him on Instagram. And if you want the details for his coach, make sure you message Aaron because I think a lot of people after this are going to be hitting him up. He needs to. You need to start charging royalties.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
All right, buddy. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for listening. Everyone who's listening to this, make sure you click like and subscribe to Muscle Asylum TV on YouTube and subscribe on iTunes and SoundCloud if you're listening to the podcast. And if you're after one of those new Muscle Asylum singlets, make sure you hit us up because I'm about to send a fair few to Afghanistan, to our troops in Afghanistan. So before all the sizes run out, the rest are going there. So make sure you get your hands on that. So thanks for coming on, Aaron. Thank you, Gally. And thanks for everyone watching. And see you all next time. Bye-bye.